welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness. Well, happy Saturday. Every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Now on FM as well at 98.1 FM in addition to AM 1220 KHTS. And today Don's not with us, but a good friend of mine, Lou Esmond, is joining me. And we were talking just offline here about a bunch of different things. And I think that reality is you may have some of the same questions. Some of the questions that we were asking ourselves, which is, where are we today with the economy? Are we in some sort of bubble? Is this sustainable? And these are things that we've been discussing here on the show and kind of amongst our peers. And I thought it would be interesting to kind of let you in on our conversation and see what you think about it.
Well, I think we're always trying to read the tea leaves.
Yeah.
You know, it's you and I have always done that with Don, and you try to figure out by looking at the past where we might be today. So, where we've been, where we are, and where we're going.
And there's always an influence, right? You look at the past, but every time everybody wants to say, this time it's different. And this time it's different because of X, Y, Z. This time it's different because of blockchain. This time it's different because of the internet. So although this time it's different, humanity is still the same by nature, and greed still exists, and those things that drive markets still exist. So we're bound to repeat it in some way, shape, or form?
We are. It's funny you say that because I would always advise people that there were 4 questions they had to ask before they made any purchases.
Oh, my God.
Right? Like, want, need, afford. Remember
right.
I used to talk about that?
I love that.
Right.
And I preach it all the time. I don't practice it all the time, but I preach it all the time.
and people, they abandoned that.
Yeah.
And it seemed that coming out of the recession, people were like, oh, maybe I should embrace that. But I think we're now 10 years beyond that, and human nature is what it is. And
we've also been, in the stock market, they have a term for this, and we've been talking about it on the show for a couple of weeks now. It's called a kids market. And a kids market is when the new stockbrokers come to the market. There's great gains in the stock market. They're being successful. They're buying. They're trading. Things are going great. Well, they don't know what it's like when the market turns. They've never seen a market turn.
Right.
And so when the majority of the people in the market have never seen a turning market, they don't know what the signs are.
Right.
And so we're starting to see some signs of that with millennials entering the home market. And baby boomers, quite frankly, are still staying in their homes, living longer and staying. So it's a little different. Right. And that's why they say history doesn't always repeat itself, but it's similar. It rhymes.
Also, what I'm seeing this time, and it's funny to say this time, but at this time in history, what we're seeing is this influx of density housing that's not for purchase. Very, very large multi-family apartment buildings that are being built around, in the West, for the very first time, around either current or future transit centers.
Yes.
Very different. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Southern California or Northern California, because I spend time in both places a lot. It's the same thing. You're seeing high density housing being built in urban centers and even now in suburban centers.
So I guess, one of the things is if you look at New York as an example, right? New York's been a very small area with a high density population for a very long time. And it's almost like San Francisco and Los Angeles and possibly Austin and some other areas of the country are catching up to what these urban areas could be. Or look at Hong Kong. I mean,
well, something. I have a degree in finance and accounting, but the other major I had in college, and I don't talk about it much, is sociology.
Right.
And when I watch all this, all of that knowledge, all those lectures I went to for sociology, you can see it all. And plus, my dad was a traffic engineer, so I was always immersed in urban planning, and you can see it. And that's a big difference, because you're not getting housing built for people to buy. You're getting housing for people to rent. And so when we look at the appreciation of housing values, there is a shortage of housing to buy.
Right.
Right. I mean, look, in this area, the other day in the paper, they talked, okay, you've got Newhall land, you have the Newhall land that's coming on, the Newhall Ranch that's coming online
Right.
with 21,000 homes.
Right. You've got Tesoro 2 coming online with about 1,000 homes.
1,000 homes. And then you have homes that are being built off of the 14.
Yep.
And you have the Centennial Project that they're talking about off of the 5 and 138. So, you've got tens of thousands of homes, but that's over 30 years,
Yeah.
And
the thing is, it's still very appealing. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show, and I'm here with Lou Esbin, owner of Esbin Law,
right?
As well as we just talked about, multiple degrees in finance, sociology, things that are financially related. So,
Right.
a lot of times people think of you as a bankruptcy attorney, and we know that you're so much more
Thanks, I
of a
appreciate that.
business planner type of thing.
I what I really am is I'm a business lawyer. I do actually a lot more business consulting now. I consult with small business on how not to fail, and I've gotten to the point in my career where I litigate, but I prefer not to litigate. So my clients now hire me to consult with other lawyers on litigation because I just don't want to.
Oh, I've also seen you mediate transactions in
yeah.
businesses. I mean, so if you have some sort of business transaction or dealing that you're not quite sure about, Lou's a great person to reach out to and just bounce some stuff off of him.
Yeah, I mean, before coming here today, I'm working on merging 4 different professional firms together, and you're dealing with personalities, and I'm trying to keep the whole thing together.
So what's a good way to get a hold of you, Lou?
EsbinLaw.com.
Okay.
That's ESBINLAW.com, EsbinLaw.com. It's my last name, law.com. My office number is 661-254-5050. That's a pretty good way of getting a hold of me.
Cool. So getting back to what we were talking about as far as, before we started the show, it was kind of like, are we building a bubble? And it's hard to say. And
it's
you
hard
like
to say, And the last time, you and I felt like the village idiots because we were saying, you can't keep borrowing away out of debt. And people were saying, oh, no, it's a new paradigm. I'm like, no, you really can't do this.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about it on the National Real Estate Cafe the other day on one of our daily video blogs.
Yeah.
If you want to find more of those, go to donandgino.com and click on the National Real Estate Cafe. Cash out refinances are up. And I can tell you that here in this office at Skyline Home Loan, we're talking to people about cash out refinances. Now, it's not just people that got themselves into trouble right now. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming this is going to come later. But right now what I'm finding is business owners have borrowed money to grow their businesses at 12 and 14 and 8 and 10% over the last few years to grow their businesses because they couldn't access because they didn't have any equity in their homes. So you wonder to yourself, how long have businesses been funded on the equity of the homes that they've had? And just now we're starting to have some access to equity again, and that's why we're seeing these cash-out refinances to take business owners out of these high-interest loans and put themselves into their home financing.
Well, I don't know whether they actually had access to hard money. I think what business was doing a lot, small business was doing a lot, they were using the federal government as their lender. And so you have small business that has a lot of tax debt. People, they were not paying their 940s and 941s. They were collecting the money from employees, and they owe those taxes. They may owe income taxes. That's what people were doing. They were borrowing from Uncle Sam. At a very low interest rate because the interest rate on unpaid taxes was
4%,
like
I think.
3%.
Yeah.
So hard money. Uncle Sam, I'll deal with Uncle Sam and the penalties.
Well,
they get into installment agreements. They work through it, and I think that the federal government, the taxing authorities, pretty much worked with people to work through their installment agreements and allow this whole process to begin.
Well, we could do a whole show on how those installment agreements work, and I'm pretty much an expert because we have to deal with them every day here in our industry. pretty much you could borrow $50,000 at 4% with not a lot of hassle from the IRS.
Well, let's not publicize that too much.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about some different stuff, but we can do a show on that. Or if you have any questions, reach out to us at donandgino@gmail.com. We'll be right back with Lou Esbin, and we'll keep discussing, are we in a bubble or not?